The night time was almost stolen. Night, in Tobian's house, never truly slept. It merely turned the page. The lamps dimmed to a honey glow, books shuffled themselves into quieter stacks, and the ink in glass bottles whispered soft, unfinished sentences. Outside, the wind combed through the trees like a patient reader tracing lines of poetry. Inside, at a crooked oak desk cluttered with manuscripts, sat Tobian. He was a wizard, yes, but also something rarer, a writer who believed magic should be understood, not merely used. His spells had footnotes. His incantations had metaphors. His enchanted quills occasionally refused to cooperate if the prose lacked rhythm. Tonight, however, Tobian was asleep, his head resting on an open page titled, "On the Nature of Timepieces That Refuse to Be Owned." That title would soon prove uncomfortably accurate. The window did not shatter. It unfolded. Glass softened into liquid curves, bending outward like a petal opening to the night. Through it slipped a shadow, silent, elegant, deliberate. She landed without a sound. Selina. A black anthropomorphic panther, tall and lithe, her fur absorbing light like ink drinks paper. Her eyes glowed faintly gold, sharp and alive with calculation. She wore fitted leather, stitched for movement, not vanity, and at her hip hung tools that whispered of locks, puzzles, and things best left unopened. She paused. Her nose twitched. Magic. Not the wild, explosive kind. No, this was layered magic. Careful magic. The kind that hides behind thoughts and waits for mistakes. Selina smiled. Good, she murmured. Worth stealing. Her gaze slid across the room until it found what she had come for. On a narrow pedestal near the desk rested a small object beneath a glass dome. A clock. Not large. Not ornate. But it ticked, strangely. Each tick sounded slightly out of place. Not late, not early, just misaligned, as though time itself hesitated before continuing. Selina stepped closer. The whisper clock, she said softly, stops time for the one who holds it, or so the rumors say. She reached into her pouch, retrieving a slender tool. Let's see if rumors exaggerate. The first trap was polite. The moment she lifted the glass dome, the room applauded. Not loudly. Not mockingly. Just, politely. Selina froze. What? The bookshelves joined in, a soft rustling clap. Even the ink bottles gave tiny, glassy taps. Well done, said a voice behind her. Selina spun. Tobian stood there, not surprised, not angry, just mildly curious, like a scholar discovering a footnote he hadn't written. You bypassed the external wards without triggering the defensive cascade. That's impressive. Selina narrowed her eyes. You're complimenting me. It would be rude not to, Tobian said. Also, that was trap 1. It exists to encourage confidence. Selina smirked. Then it's working. She grabbed the clock. Trap 2 activated. The floor disappeared. Not literally, but perception shifted so violently that Selina suddenly felt as though she were falling through endless darkness. Stars streaked past her, wind roared in her ears, her body tumbling through a void that had no bottom. She snarled, claws extending, twisting midair, and landed exactly where she stood. The room returned. Tobian tilted his head. Ah. You kept your balance. Most people scream. Selina exhaled slowly. That was cheap. Psychological traps often are, Tobian replied. Trap 2. Induces existential vertigo. She glanced at the clock in her hand. Still there. Still ticking wrong. 2 traps, she said. Not enough. She took a step toward the window. Trap 3 unfolded like a story reaching its twist. Chains of glowing script erupted from the floor, not metal, but sentences, wrapping around her arms, her legs, her torso. Words tightened like vines, each letter burning faintly with meaning. Selina struggled. The more she fought, the tighter they became. "What is this?" she hissed. Tobian said, stepping closer. "That one I'm rather proud of. Linguistic binding. The more aggressively you resist, the more emphatic the grammar becomes." Selina stilled. The chains loosened slightly. "Oh," she muttered. "So it's polite magic." "In a sense," Tobian said. "Would you like to test a hypothesis?" She looked at him. Then, cautiously, "Please let me go." The chains relaxed further. Tobian smiled. "See? Language matters." Selina huffed. "You're insufferable. I've been called worse. Usually by my own drafts." Minutes passed. Selina sat on the floor, still loosely bound by glowing sentences, while Tobian brewed tea. "Chamomile," he offered. "I broke into your house." "Yes. I tried to steal your magical artifact." "Also yes. And you're making tea." Tobian poured 2 cups. "It's a complicated evening. Tea helps." He handed her a cup. The chains allowed enough freedom for her to take it. She sniffed it. "Not poisoned." "If I intended harm," Tobian said, sitting opposite her, "we would not be having this conversation." Selina sipped. Paused. "Okay, that's good. Thank you." Silence settled, softer than before. "You could have killed me," Selina said eventually. "Yes." "You didn't." "No." "Why?" Tobian leaned back slightly, considering. "Because," he said, "you didn't come here to destroy. You came to take something." "There's a difference." Selina's tail flicked. "You don't know me." "True," Tobian said. "But I know intention. It leaves a shape in the air." She looked down at the clock, still in her hand. "I need it," she said quietly. Tobian's eyes sharpened, not with suspicion, but interest. "For what?" Selina hesitated. Then sighed. "There's someone," she said. "A friend." "Cursed. Time is slipping around them. Some days they remember me. Some days they don't exist at all." Tobian said nothing. "I heard this clock could stabilize time," she continued. "Give me moments. Real ones." The room listened. "Even the books." Tobian exhaled softly. "Ah. Not pity. Understanding." "That rumor," he said, "is not entirely wrong. But it's incomplete." Selina's grip tightened. "Meaning?" "The whisper clock does not stop time," Tobian said. "It negotiates with it. And time is a terrible negotiator." She frowned. "Speak plainly." "It will give you moments," he said. "But it will take others. You might gain an hour, and lose a day somewhere else. Memories, perhaps. Pieces of yourself." Selina went still. "So it's useless." "No," Tobian said gently. "It's dangerous." Silence again. Then Selina laughed, short, bitter. "Of course it is. The chains around her faded. Not because she asked. Because Tobian released them. She looked up. "You're letting me go." "I am," he said. "And the clock?" Tobian reached out. Paused. Then pushed it back toward her. "You may take it," he said. Selina blinked. "What?" "On one condition." Her eyes narrowed. "There it is." "Stay," Tobian said. "Until morning." "That's it." "I would like to understand your situation better," he said. "And perhaps, no promises, find a safer solution." Selina studied him. "You think you can fix it?" "I think," Tobian said carefully, "that problems involving time are best approached with patience rather than theft." She snorted. Then, after a moment, nodded. "Fine," she said. "But if this is a trick?" "It is," Tobian said. She tensed. "A trick," he continued, "to make a friend." Selina stared at him. Then laughed. Not bitter this time. Something lighter. "Wizard," she said, "you are very strange." "So I've been told." The night stretched on. They talked. About curses that bend time like soft metal. About books that refuse to end. About traps, and why some are meant to catch thieves, and others to start conversations. By the time dawn brushed the windows with pale gold, Selina was no longer sitting near the exit. She was at the desk, flipping through Tobian's notes. "This is, actually brilliant," she admitted. Tobian smiled faintly. "Careful." That was almost a compliment. "Don't get used to it." When she finally stood to leave, the clock remained on the pedestal. Untouched. "You're not taking it?" Tobian asked. Selina shook her head. "Not yet," she said. "Not if there's a better way." She moved toward the window. Paused. Looked back. "You'll help me?" she asked. Tobian nodded. "Yes." Selina smiled, small, but real. "Then I suppose," she said, "this was a successful theft." "Oh." Tobian raised an eyebrow. "Yes," she said, stepping into the morning light. "I stole your time." Tobian chuckled. "And I yours." Selina grinned. "Fair trade." And with that, she vanished into the waking world, no longer just a shadow in the night, but a story that had decided to stay. Behind her, in the quiet house where magic preferred conversation over conflict, Tobian picked up his quill and wrote a new title. On the Curious Case of the Thief Who Chose to Stay.